thrills, chills, and kills of racing games. Nintendo has a knack for capturing the adrenaline rush and excitement and crushing blows in their Mario Kart series. However, one IP Nintendo made was strictly for racing, and has not gotten the proper attention it deserves. F-Zero. Hot off the rails of the Super Nintendo, showcasing top-notch graphics at the time was, of course, F-Zero. And there was Pilot Wings, but we'll talk about that later. The franchise would get new releases on every new Nintendo console up to the GameCube era, until one day, the poster boy Captain Falcon would only be known as a playable character in Super Smash Bros. As you can imagine, merchandising for the IP is few and far between, but it's worth documenting and discussing. Hop in the Blue Falcon, we're gonna show off all the F-Zero merchandise! F-Zero makes its debut on the Super Nintendo in 1990, and this display would be handing out in game stores. It's hollow foil like those Pokemon cards. Inside an issue of Nintendo Power from September 1991 was this poster. The art style is very American and 90s. Actually, those same assets would be used for the box of this board game. It simulates the video game, but the rules are in Japanese, so good luck! Also in Japan are these Tomy F-Zero racers. You put stickers on them yourself, and as you can imagine, used ones are not always accurate sticker placement. Regardless, these are sick and were actually part of this racetrack, similar to the Super Mario Kart one. This guide looks like a magazine, but it's not. It's a Japanese exclusive guide for the Super Famicom F-Zero game. The soundtrack for the game comes in the CD format. Once again, it's a Japanese exclusive. F-Zero X released in 1998 for the Nintendo 64, and there's a guidebook in Japanese. Not just one, two, but three guidebooks. Not a single one for English players. Another CD soundtrack that's Japanese exclusive. Yippee! F-Zero Maximum Velocity is the first F-Zero game on the Game Boy Advance, and there are two guidebooks. It's exclusive to Japan, as you can imagine, just like always! F-Zero GX released in 2003 for the GameCube, and we have another Japanese guidebook, but also one for English players, thanks to Nintendo Power. One of the Japanese guides is for the GX and AX, which is the arcade, and speaking of, this logo pin is from an arcade. You take your GameCube memory card and download cool stuff from the F-Zero AX arcade. I imagine this pin was a bonus there, and it's one of the more common F-Zero items. Alongside that pin are these stickers or decals of Captain Falcon and the Blue Falcon. Employees from places like Walmart, Kmart, and EB Games would wear this pin to promote F-Zero GX, like every other Nintendo game in the past. Hanging out in game stores during that time was this cardboard Blue Falcon. I miss displays like that, like come on, bring these stuff back! This lanyard was a promo either at E3 or some other event for F-Zero GX, like these t-shirts. One has just the logo while the other has the logo enlarged with two racers on it. This notebook was given to Nintendo reps to hand out to people at E3, I believe. F-Zero GP Legend was not only an anime, it was also a game on the Game Boy Advance, and there's a guidebook, exclusive to Japan. The last true F-Zero game was F-Zero Climax, a fitting title, and it has a cool poster of Captain Falcon and Black Shadow playing the game using the link cable. I love these quirky Japanese posters, look at it! In 2014, Nintendo released amiibo figures for their Super Smash Bros. Game on Wii U and 3DS. One of those happens to be Captain Falcon, and this is the only known figure of him. While I haven't seen many people beg for new F-Zero games, there is a vocal minority that wants a proper return for the franchise, much like Star Fox and Kid Icarus. We got F-Zero 99, but that isn't really a new F-Zero game, or one that we're looking for. Also, the fact that there's not that much merchandise for the franchise, it's clear that Nintendo's priorities are elsewhere. Never give up a hope, however, as we live in the era of remasters and resurrections of forgotten titles. For better or worse, the race isn't over yet.